Alrighty.
Good morning, Sally.
Oh,
It's actually good day. It's not good morning. The
no,
morning's
it's good
finished.
afternoon, Harry. Harry,
Yeah.
you're looking very naked around the neck today.
Well, you know, I had a Toyota experience this morning and I let them both fly in the car.
Were you doing one of your jumps, your very famous jumps?
No, I was just test driving a Toyota, but it distracted me.
Very exciting.
Anyway,
Very exciting.
and you know, looking to change my car maybe, and we're talking today about adapting to the big change.
To change, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I use that symbol when I do shorthand.
Yeah.
Change symbol.
I do it when I'm using longhand.
Yeah. So I've entitled mine "Go with the Flow." So
go with the flow. That's often harder than it sounds.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because we can either resist change or we can adopt change. So
yes, I work with kids who have difficulty adapting, and the group that pushes me the most are kids on the spectrum.
Yep.
And I'll have a plan. I'll have, a well thought out, strategic, clinic-based plan to deliver them resilience gains. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I have to be flexible. And sometimes I can say, okay, this is what it's going to be. And we end up in tears. And then I push through, stand them in the corner. Sometimes, very rarely. And then it's okay. We have a hug. Before COVID, we had a hug.
Yeah, pre-COVID, yeah.
We have a very quiet hug. We don't tell anybody.
And
then we're all okay. And that sometimes is necessary. Not very often, but sometimes. But usually I have to be flexible and give in. So I have to have a fallback plan.
Yep. Because particularly with kids on the spectrum, because they love structure and routine and regular stuff?
They need structure and routine because they hate this horrible feeling of being hyper anxious.
Right.
And so much of what you and I can cope with in daily life, they can't because, well, to give you an example, let's say you're in with a group of peers and they're chatting. You can make sense of what they're saying and you know if they're being friendly or not. On the spectrum, that's more difficult. So it's like you can be ambushed.
Yeah, that's the word, ambushed. Yeah, good one.
And that's horrible. Makes you anxious, and when you're anxious, you lose capacity, you lose IQ, you lose processing speed, all those things that you need to navigate every moment.
Yeah. Man, well, this is a particularly period of...
Oh, God, I finished my coffee. It's just pretending for the camera.
I've got my lemon and ginger, but I'm a soaker. I leave it in there.
I love these mugs. They stopped making them. And they're very light. They're porcelain, Maxwell and Williams.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And they had some lovely ones with naked women cooking with aprons on and men going fishing and getting their lips.
Yeah, so coming back to, this is a particular challenging time for a lot of people and people adapting to change for what we're going through and the great uncertainty moving forward. So, the whole world has had to adapt since January, February, whatever it is, into a different way of life. And when I was looking up, all information around change, so 1 in 3 people adapt to change more successfully or successfully. So 2/3 of people really resist it. And it was interesting that from what I was reading, some of it was saying because the people that feel imprisoned by the thought of change are looking for meaning in the past, trying to make sense of what they've done as to why this is happening, as opposed to those that have been inspired by the change, like myself, in many ways, because there's so many positives out of this change. This is like, how can I make the best out of this? What can be done out of this bad situation, rather than, accepting that it has happened, and then how can I turn it around into a positive? I'm loving being at home, but yeah, what we can say.
Look at the hard times you've gone through in the previous 10 years to build your resilience to get to where you are.
Well, that's right. You know, life experience, and that's right. They had plenty of knocks. So
Yeah.
this is a minor knock in many ways, because it's not so personal, so to speak, and it wasn't hitting.
Well, you've actually built resilience, Sal. That's what you've
Yep.
done.
Yep.
It's
Rather than
not
reliance, right?
It's not a minor lock when I have a look at how other people are responding.
Yeah.
Even if you do call yourself lockdown Sally.
I've been in lockdown for a while. But
I can't do that. I can't do this bit that you do. You do it better than me.
You do one of those things, you know, that's how my kids do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not really.
It's interesting you say that. Yes, I am quite resilient, but, you know, I look at my kids and they've been incredibly resilient, you know, and they're able to adapt to change a lot easier than a lot of other people. And
maybe I've seen some work that suggests that children will internalize it and will see the results later.
Yeah, because that's what I was talking with some friends. Surely it has to have a flow-on effect. You know, they're coping, and part of it is that we're just in the coping phase at the moment.
Oh my goodness! I'm looking down here. It's just Sally Estlin today. It's not lockdown Sally. I'm a bit disappointed.
I'll change it for you. Rename. Okay, I'm going into.
So, you know, one of the big things one of the big life stage changes, well, there are three. One when you find a partner.
Yep.
One when you have kids.
Yep.
And the third when the kids leave home.
Yep.
They're the three big changes, which I've been through all of them. On the eve of the first one, my dad came over, and I loved my dad, had a great relationship with him. And the advice he gave me on the eve of my marriage was that for me to survive more easily, and he knew me well, that I would need to be flexible. And he added, a tree survives in the wind only because it bends.
I love that. Can you say that one again?
A tree survives in the wind only because it bends.
Yeah.
If it were rigid, it would snap at the first strong gust.
Yep.
Which is what is happening to some of the people around that we know.
It's so true. Snapping.
So that doesn't make it any easier, and we all know that change is constant and probably accelerating. I only know my own life, my own 70 years. I don't know whether it's accelerating because my perspective changes.
Mm.
And so maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But if I have a look at the symptoms of inability to adapt to change, it's stress.
Yep.
It's anxiety, it's health failures. And the sorts of things that I come across in my world are, well, obviously there's COVID that's impacting people, not too much where I am. But where you are, definitely. Loneliness is a big one.
Yep.
Single parent households are increasing.
Yep.
Substance abuse in the young can lead to psychosis, isolation, health risks, suicide. And the other one is early childhood trauma, undermines the ability to go with the flow.
Right.
Because you erect these barriers to protect yourself, sensory, emotional, psychological barriers, and they can imprison you.
Mm. Mm.
And some of the adults that I see are imprisoned by these sensory armor, if you like. So one of the pieces of sensory armor is that you maybe saw your parents having a really rough argument when you were young.
Yep.
So you switched off to the way they were talking to each other, and then forevermore you could never understand the way people talked to you. You could hear the words, but you didn't get the meaning. And you can get imprisoned by that. And then when we restore that capacity, they say, oh my goodness, I can hear all this stuff. It's so easy. Yep. I feel set free.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, went a bit deep there.
Yeah, I was just like thinking back, right? And it's true. Yeah, it's true. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. So there's all different types of models around, and so I've rather than put my own model together this week, I've copied down a model out of Psychology Today or something. It was the 4-stage model. I know, well, reference from it. Come on. Did a bit better job than me. So the 4 stages when it comes to, adapting to change. First stage is the shock and denial, where you've processed the fear and confusion. This can't be happening, which is what a lot of the world has gone through. Stage 1, they're still stuck.
Yeah,
this can't be happening to me. I'm in shock and denial and just so confused about it all and very fearful. That's where the fear and anxiety has been coming through. Stage 2, you then move into resistance. Why should I have to change? It's not my fault. I haven't done anything wrong. And then that builds up the anger and the defensiveness as well. But then if you can shift through into stage 3, which is the exploration stage, how could this work for me? And you experiment and find some meaning. And that's what I've been doing. It's like, okay, how can this work for me? I'm not driving around all the time. I can sleep in. I can work from home. There's like lots of positives. So I'm making it work for me in a very positive way. Timetabling so that I can have more time to do my 1-hour walk per day in the sunshine and have Zoom
and prune the roses as well.
Absolutely, paint the fence and do some gardening. All that. And then that leads into stage 4 of adaptation and commitment, where I can see how this really can work for me, and you're accepting it and you're more confident about the situation, confident within yourself and confident about it'll be okay. And, you're feeling more resistant, confident, got greater control back and getting that calmness back. So you're not feeling so anxious and it's not so stressed about it. You're riding the wave of change. It's like we often talk about that, like riding that big wave, and we'll get there and it ebbs and flows, but it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, look, that's really interesting, because I guess the key is to be, and it's really hard, is to be a little bit self-aware as you get confronted by change, to know what stage you're in. So my model was a little bit different. The first thing I think is really useful is just to accept that change is inevitable. And underneath that is facing what you fear, because change taps into that. And then ask for help. Ask for help. And then the third one, I've got good palette today, all A's, allow for alternatives to emerge. So yes, we may have an idea, like we were going to go for a 3-week trip to Alice, but it was going to be too hard to get through the South Australian borders, so we decided to just stay in New South Wales. So we adapted what our plan was. We went with the flow, in your words.
Yeah, go with the flow, baby. Let it go. I love that, being open-minded. I mean, part of this is looking for different opportunities out of this situation, because everything's perception, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. That's the reality. Yes. And so the sorts of protective factors we can have against stress, against rigidity, are talking to other people, communicating, looking after yourself, looking, the self-care, the wellness practice, and making sure that you've got multiple goals, you've got flexibility in them, you've got alternatives, and that you feel safe. So one of the things that has really undermined a lot of people in Victoria is they don't feel safe.
What did I just say before? Every time I go for a walk, like today, I saw at least 5 police vans and then 2 policemen walking past me, an army, and it's intimidating. It really is. And just, driving along the street or walking along the street, whatever.
So they're not making you feel safe, are they?
No, it's weird. And as PJ said the other day on one of the channels, they're watching us walk. It's not cool. It's like, what are they there for? It's just like, there's police cars everywhere. It's not just in particular walking areas. It's around the street. It's everywhere.
I'm surprised there isn't an Andrews app that tracks your every footstep.
I know, I'm waiting for the app.
And finds you for every footstep out of, where you should be going.
Well, if you've gone over 5K or if you've gone over an hour, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Then the meter starts ticking, you know.
Oh, yeah. And of course, they'll be making money out of it.
Oh, yes, the Andrews Retirement Fund, I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
is doing
that's
very
right.
well.
Oh man, so yeah, yes, being flexible is but feeling safe, that is true. It's just like we feel threatened in some ways,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So I've got 3 steps,
yeah, 3 steps,
and
yep,
the first one is find and face what scares you
yeah,
about
the fears and
future
whatever.
uncertainty.
Yep,
The second thing is looking back, learn from your mistakes and build your resilience.
absolutely.
So we all make mistakes. We learn our best lessons by making mistakes.
Fail fast, baby.
Yes, I find that hard.
Oh, come on, at your young age, you must have made plenty.
And the third one is nurture your support network so that you can call
Absolutely.
on them, build up a positive balance with them.
Absolutely, so important. I love that, Harry. So find and face your fears, learn from your mistakes, build up your resilience, and nurture your support network. That's really important. That sense of community, family, friends, people around you, so you're not isolated.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It wasn't so much 3 steps. It was just about everything around change. You know, everything is around perception, and it's your choice. You know, your choice in the way that you move forward, the way that you perceive stuff. But you know, the choice with your actions, I always link it into: is it satisfying your soul or is it crushing your soul? The choices that you're choosing to make out of the situation and the way you're choosing to step forward into change. I always look at, does it align with my values, my choices around the change? I always encourage myself and others to stay in the present moment, because as soon as we step into that unknown future territory, it's just fueling and feeding the anxiety and stress. So the more we can just stay with, let it go, there's nothing we can control about tomorrow, just ride the wave today. Stay positive and grateful, as we always talk about. Super important to just shift that energy back up into a lighter level. And process your emotions, you know, give them some airplay, but don't get too stuck or focused on the negative emotions. Just, if you're feeling that fear, allow yourself to fear, but step through it, step onto the other side. And then last one that we always bang on about, look after your health with your body, your exercise and diet, your mental health and emotional health, having that strong community, friend, support group around you. So they were sort of all my little tidbits, if you like, or tips for adopting change rather than resisting it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, love it.
Oh, you love it? What are you talking about Saturday, Harry? I think because we both work in an area, well, in the wellness area, and helping people change, you know, holding their hand as they transition across into new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, acting, reacting, all that sort of thing. So,
yeah. No, I had one of my mums send me a text 8 o'clock at night, you know, which is a little bit late. My mum, one of my clients, I mean, one of my mums.
Just because you're going to bed in half an hour.
And she said, Harry, I know it's late. I've got to send this to you. I forget what's the kid's name? Anyway, I can't remember his name. He told his first joke. He made his first joke.
How cool.
And the whole family is so thrilled.
Yeah.
And then another kid who came home and just spent a couple of hours.
No way, drew that.
Colouring it.
Wow, that's fantastic. So just did, yeah.
6-year-old.
That is beautiful. That's just
beautiful. Yeah, but just off her own bat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's I'm going to be on the move for the next 3 weeks, so we may be able to do it, and
we'll see how
we may not. We'll just have to see.
That would you'll be Outback Harry. Reporting into lockdown Sally. That'd be awesome. Harry. Well, I wish you all the best on your endeavours. And you know,
I really think Sally should just be lockdown Sally, not Sally Estlin. Could be Sally Estlin in lockdown.
Okay, well, I'll read it again. Rename. There we go. Just lockdown Sally. There we go.
It's funny. It's really funny. It's got a ring about it.
It does, because
yeah, that looks better.
I love to be Mustang Sally, but now I'm just lockdown Sally.
Mustang Sally.
Woohoo!
Oh yeah, right.
But on that note, Harry, I shall let it go and go with the flow and live in the
Yes.
moments and just
Yeah.
cherish the moments.
Definitely.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, see you when we next meet. Could be
Adios.
next week, could be later.
Have a
Duh.
great time.
See ya.